gotta steal.
I'm just saying.
What's
like, he got a foot on Langston?
Man.
He almost got that foot on. Yeah.
What a night for D. Rose. Back home in Chicago, takes it to the basket strong. It's a crazy shot, falling out of bounds.
One of the great stories in the NBA this year, Derrick Rose, one of the top 5 scorers coming off the bench, averaging 16 points a game. Man, one of the best in the NBA. The MVP chance back in Chicago.
Was so cool.
He really looks I mean, I'm not saying he's as good as he was in MVP years, but he's playing the same way. It's just, like, I'm surprised Thibodeau hasn't just put him in the starting lineup.
He's playing the same way, but he can shoot better.
But he can shoot,
exactly. He can shoot from 3.
This is definitely the best year he's had since the injury.
No question.
Pacers, Hawks, Victor Oladipo driving, looking to drop the hammer, but gets denied by Justin Anderson.
Man, Victor Oladipo got blocked like he blocked me when I tried to dap him up at the club in Miami right before the season.
Just like that.
Tried to say hi to him. I guess he didn't like some of my commentary during the Pacers-Cavs series. He gave me the look like, oh, yeah, what's up? And then, like, he registered who I was, waved me off. That's all right, Victor.
Wow.
You're balling out. Pacers, one of the most under-the-radar team in the league, man.
Pacers
once again.
Nice.
All right, moving on to the Sixers.
Right, making friends around the one at a time.
Hey, what'd you say about KD? You gotta have thick skin.
Oh, you got exactly right.
Sixers lost a brutal one to
KD mean mugging me.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Jenna, go
Sixers lost a tough one to the Celtics on Christmas Day. Joel Embiid had a great game on paper, finishing with 34 points and 16 rebounds, but the All-Star not as great a game on the court. Down the stretch, just 4 shots in the last 17 minutes. Embiid talked about what went wrong at the end of the game.
I felt like I could have done more. I didn't get the ball, or the ball didn't find me in the 4th and in overtime. So in those situations, I got to show up, but then also I got to be put in the right situations to be able to like help the team. And I felt like I wasn't in the right situation, so I felt like I could have done more. We lost. You know, I put this heavily on me because I know I could have done more. And the way I was playing, I don't think they could guard me. And they were playing a lot of one-on-one where they were double teaming on the first dribbles, but I kind of found a way to adjust through that and just be myself.
All right, Cris, broussard, what do the Sixers need to do to get these 3, Joel Embiid, Butler, and Simmons, to all coexist and be successful at it?
Well, he makes an interesting point. He had 34 points in that Christmas Day game.
Yes.
Only 4 in the 4th quarter and overtime. They have a problem, and it's that they couldn't guard him down low. He's absolutely right. I mean, he was just killing them down low.
Single coverage, too, not double.
Right. But down the stretch or in the 4th quarter, the problem is that Joel is unstoppable down there. But Ben Simmons can only score in 2 ways, either driving the basketball or he gets a lot of stuff at the rim. Post-ups or flashes beneath the rim in that area. And in today's NBA, it's hard to have 2 guys down low. Yeah. So what they've done is they put Embiid out by the 3-point line, and he's only like a 20-something% shooter from 3, 30%, whatever it is. But they've done that just to stretch the floor. So it is a challenge. This is a team that really is built for yesteryear because none of their big 3 can really shoot. I mean, they're okay. Butler's okay shooting, but none of them are shooters. Look at all the big 3s in recent memory. The Boston Celtics. Ray Allen was a great shooter. In Miami, they made Bosh become a really good shooter. That's how it's done. Golden State, obviously. Right. That's how it is nowadays. And San Antonio, when they ran through Miami in 2014, they had a bunch of shooters. So I think what they have to do is they've got a nice big 3. They've got to get as many shooters as they can around it, which is easier said than done. But I think that's the only hope.
It's also why before they had Butler, the Bellinelli, Ilyasova additions at the buyout date last year were so key for them because it added shooting to the team. It's one of the reasons why if you look at their best 3-man lineup, the one constant is J.J. Redick's in all of them. Like J.J. Redick, because of the shooting that he adds and being still at this advanced age and knocked down one of the best shooters in basketball. But it is, I mean, I will give C credit on this. It's a Ben Simmons problem right now. It's that Ben Simmons, and I don't want to harp on it like we did yesterday, but it's true. He didn't add something to his game, and because of that, you're in a spot where you have to ask yourself, should we try to stagger Simmons and Embiid as much as we can. Have lineups of Butler with Embiid, Butler with Simmons, have JJ out there, like do something like that, because unless in transition, Ben Simmons is awesome, as good as anybody in the league. And I think he is a very underrated defender. But as the game slows down, when he and Embiid are both out there, it gets congested.
Well, you made a great point about staggering the minutes, but down the stretch,
you want your best players
all
on the
three
court.
of them in. And as you said, the game does slow down the stretch.
This is the biggest problem. And it's not that Ben Simmons didn't add anything to his game. It's that Ben Simmons has demanded to be the point guard. And he's not a point guard, not by no stretch of the imagination. And there has been no team that he's been on that he was the point guard. Cris, you'll know this and respect this. A point guard, man, is a leader, a floor general, a playmaker, a guy who has a basketball IQ like the coaches, who understands what plays we need to run, what sets do we need to run. And he can't set up an offense because he's not a great dribbler. And the thing you talk about, oh, he's great in transition. What happens in the fourth quarter? What happens in overtime? There ain't no transition. So now his ability to be able to lead a team or orchestrate a team. How do we get in the right play? Because the end of the game, in the Boston game where he throws the ball away, they were trying to do a simple dribble handoff, the same one they did in regulation, where he's going to stop dribbling at the elbow, hand it to J.J. Reddick, set a little brush screen, and J.J.'s going to shoot it to be able to win. They tried to do the same thing in overtime. J.J.'s coming for the rub. He doesn't even realize we're getting ready to run the same thing and throws the ball. J.J. ducks, wondering, and Joel Embiid is wondering, well, were you trying to throw that to me? So their inability to be able to set up a half-court offense. They were better off when, at the end of games, they were going to Jimmy Butler to close it out.
Well, they have to do that.
Because he can go off the dribble.
Yeah.
He can also go off the ball. They just don't have a point guard, and trying to think that Ben Simmons is your point guard, that's going to be a problem going forward.
Here's the problem because I said it yesterday, that at the end of the game, it's for Jimmy Butler, and if it's not for Jimmy Butler, it's for Joel Embiid. But if you are going to have the end-of-game situations or late-in-game situations, Jimmy Butler run the offense, then it becomes the question of, then why is Ben Simmons out there aside for his defense? Because whomever his guy is going to just sag all the way in the paint.
Right.
And so because if Ben Simmons doesn't have the ball,
put him on the block.
Correct. They put him on the block, but then where's Joel Embiid? It's what you said. It's a circle. The reason Ben Simmons, you're saying he's not a point guard. The reason he's playing that spot is offensively, he has to have the ball in his hands to be a threat. Because when he doesn't have the ball, unless he's going to back cut and catch an alley-oop.
He could be the main guy in the pick and roll because he's dangerous on the roll. But they don't have a #1 ball handler. So there are other places you can put him on the court.
Sure, you can put him in the pick and roll, but then Embiid, again, to Chris's point, has to be away from the basket.
Yeah, of course. Right. It's about spacing, and we're trying to make Ben Simmons. Let me tell you what's not going to happen. And anybody making a suggestion that he should go to the bench and not be there, they are a fool. Because you are not going to one of your franchise players and tell him you're going to the bench in crunch minutes.
He's probably more like a Scottie Pippen, as you said, like not quite a point guard. And I thought last year he was a point guard. But you can, because he's obviously a great passer, ball handler, all that, but he's not, as you said, just understanding running an offense. That's where the deficiency is. So like I said, more like a point forward. But they may have to go to a more old school style of play. You see Memphis do it. You play to your strengths. I don't know if you can have Embiid on the low block, Simmons on the high block.
Play him like a power forward is what you're saying. Play him like Ewing
and get some shooters
Mason.
around.
But
that's
that
to
would
your
be weird.
strength. You can't. You have to. Memphis doesn't play like everybody else.
Correct.
And they've had a little bit of success because they play to their strengths. Everybody's not going to be Golden State spreading the floor like that.
All right, guys, we've got to take a break. Broussard, we'll see you a little bit later on. Coming up, does Nick Wright already have his NBA MVP locked up? The answer is yes. That's next on First Things First.
The answer is no.
The answer
Nick Wright
is
does
no.
have a list.
The answer is no. Obviously, no is what I was going for.
Post-Christmas Day MVP list. Time to unveil.